This is a short preview of the lecture video available on the sonographic educational website sonoshare.in on the topic sonography of fetal facial cliffs. Short clippings of the various parts of the lecture video will follow. Having gone through the preview, if you wish to listen to the main lecture video, go to sonoshare.in. Usually recognized, and the report is given as cleft lip syndromes or chromosomal anomalies. So to this date, about 275 syndromes have been identified where in males. Lip only cleft is 75% is unilateral of these prominences. Finally, which happens from week 6 to weeks, and it is complete by week 10 occurs, and this happens posterior to anterior. So it happens posterior to anterior. Why is it important? We'll see. So around 7 weeks also the development of secondary palate happens, and it is paramedian. It is not in the midline, it is paramedian. So it can be unilateral or bilateral. And this is easily diagnosed because visualization of the lip and lip is in there is one of the parameters in the guidelines described. So it is easily looked for and diagnosed. Whereas cleft secondary palate, that is the lateral palatal cells, so there is a cleft in between. They are yet to fuse, and the tongue occupies because the space in between because of the short mandible, small mandible. So during development, the mandible elongates, fails to descend down. So as a result, it remains between the lateral palatal shelves. So they cannot fuse. This is the secondary palate. So that is the secondary palate, and it can be unilateral. The lip and alveolus can be unilateral or bilateral, or the cleft can be median, soft palate, unilateral or bilateral. We will see one by one. And the lower lip. So this is the normal appearance of the nose, lips, the alveolus forming, which gives a triangular appearance that is called the retronasal triangle. So the retronasal triangle is again a very important section in the facial clips, even and the nasal bone and the nose, the upper lip, lower lip, the chin. And then you see the mandible, and that is the upper lip, the soft tissue, and posterior to the upper lip you see the alveolus of the maxilla and the mandible. If you see, this is the mandible which is completely seen, the tooth buds are seen completely, but when you come to the maxilla you see only the mandible. So this is a sweep which is shown in this video, the orbits, the nose, patients of fetal facial clefts. But if you see the why this 17, it was not correct, because cleft soft palate could not be diagnosed in secondary palate. The accuracy of sonography is low. Why? Because it is dome-like. So it is not in one see that. So this is the 3D. Now the technique is you do a scan with extended neck information. This is the thesis based on which this paper was described. They described a equal sign because it is surrounded by fluid. Then first echo is on the near surface, and there is an interface between fluid and the uvula and the nasopharynx, and in the fluid filled nasopharynx you see the uvula as a equal sign. Okay, it is free to fall back to the posterior wall of the pharynx. So when this is present, this will be visible as glossoptosis. And here you see the partially fluid filled nasopharynx, but you see some soft tissue filling the nasopharynx. That means you see again the equal sign that indicates there is uvula, and you see the technique. This is the coronal scan, you see, but instead it is filled with soft tissue, that is the tongue, so that is glass apoptosis. Better. So here you see the beam, you see here the beam is perpendicular to the nasal bone, here the beam is passing through the fluid filled mouth, palate and uvula, so that means it is a cleft of the secondary palate. Soft palate and the uvula, there is also fluid in the nasopharynx. So this fluid in the mouth which comes in between, and sometimes it may not be there. If it is not there, you fail to see the soft palate and uvula, and you may miss. So this is tongue fluid, and then fluid in the nasopharynx, you see the soft palate. So this is the lateral part of the soft palate, lateral to the cleft. Go to the alveolus, you see the alveolus of the maxilla is intact. There is no cleft in the alveolus. Cleft involving the lip and alveolus, so that is 2, and U stands for unilateral. So it is unilateral on left side. So this is the coronal scan of the nose lips. You see the nose, the lower lip, upper lip, there is a cleft on the left side. It is unilateral. It is not in the midline. It is to the left of midline. So that is unilateral cleft triangle with a normal base, continuous base like that. Whereas in this case, you see the retronasal triangle. You see the normal base on the right side. Whereas the base, you see fluid filled nasopharynx, but you fail to see the uvula. And in the coronal scan also uvula not seen. So then we have to confirm the soft palate in the sagittal scan. So sagittal scan shows the tongue there, but you fail to see the soft palate. Okay, so this is the uvula and soft palate are not seen. So that is the cleft of the soft palate. So there is all the 3 segments are involved: the lip, alveolus, and the soft palate. Always possible, but sometimes it will be seen, as seen here. So here you see the cleft of the lip. Okay, that is the lip. That is the lip. So lip is missing there. So that is cleft of the upper lip, and the alveolus, cleft of the alveolus. So that is the alveolus missing, and then you also see the cleft soft palate. And when you see the profile, you will see that there is no protuberance, premaxillary protuberance. The profile is normal, where there is no premaxillary protuberance, which differentiates it from the 2B, we will see subsequently. So this is 1B, bilateral, B bilateral, 1 is lip. So bilateral, that is the upper lip, you see the bilateral cleft of the lip, as well as you see the alveolus, there is bilateral cleft of the alveolus also. So when there is a bilateral cleft of the alveolus, this part of the alveolus is free, there is no support. Third segment, we have to show it is normal. So this is the axial scan showing the uvula. Uvula is seen, and when you see the mid-sagittal scan, you see the normalus moving anteriorly. So that is the premaxillary protuberance. This is seen when bilateral cleft of the lip and alveolus. So in 3, that is the third segment, we must show the cleft of the soft palate. So here you see the axial scan of the nasopharynx, so that is 3B. And this has got also more association with other anomalies. Bilateral lip and bilateral alveolus, you get premaxillary protuberance. So this is seen both in 2B and 3B. So this you must be conscious. There is micrognathia. You see the micrognathia, and when you see micrognathia and cleft secondary palate, there is always associated anomalies, and this combination is called Peary-Robin syndrome on 3D. We don't need 3D, but it is better to demonstrate to the patient. So whenever you see micrognathia and polyhydramnias, we must rule out cleft secondary palate, and you have to take the mid-sagittal skin. Here you see the normal soft palate and uvula, whereas here you see that the soft palate and uvula fills the nasopharynx and the oropharynx, and it remains always. So you fail to see a fluid-filled nasopharynx. So in coronal scan, you see the nasopharynx, there is no fluid at all. It's completely filled with tongue and remains filled with tongue. So you fail to see the nasopharynx. You cannot look for the uvula here. So this is the mid-sagittal section. You fail to see the soft palate and uvula, and you see the tongue. Tongue is occupying part palate and giving a fallacious appearance of normal soft palate. So 3D is not necessary, and it cannot show the cleft in these situations. Yeah. In the sagittal, there was no micrognathia. So here you see the mid-sag, you see there is no micrognathia, but still you don't see the soft palate uvula. So it is the video showing the glossoptosis. You see, fail to see the soft palate and uvula, there is glossoptosis. So this is an isolated cleft secondary palatation. Here the upper lip is perpendicular to the beam, is it not? Like that. So when this line is perpendicular to the beam, a defect will be seen well. So this is angle of incidence, which becomes very important in amniotic fluid there. So amniotic fluid gives the contrast in this fetus. So it is seen very well in the axial scan as well as in 3D. So 3D, for 3D pathogenesis compared to the previous clefts we saw, and it is closely associated with forebrain development. So this is the coronal scan, and in the alveolus also you don't see the alveolus, so that is the median midline cleft of the upper. So this is important. So because this you may mistake it as bilateral cleft. So if there is bilateral cleft, you will not get a flat face. So the midline septum here in the median cleft, whereas in the sagittal scan you see a flat precil profile, whereas in bilateral cleft and lip and alveolus you get a premaxillary to ear and variable extension up to ear. It may be isolated or associated with syndromes. You see a thin amniotic band coming and attaching to the cleft. This is a high frequency scan. You see the cleft cheek and you see the amniotic band. In axial scan, you fail to see the uvula, and this is the axial scan. You see the entire cleft trimester. Now, I want to stress this point. What is in the anomaly scan, what is practical and important is this legal term, res ipsa loquitur. What does this mean? That means the proof is not needed because the facts, example of normal, and this is cleft upper lip alone, unilateral, bilateral cleft upper lip. So all this will be seen in this section. So coronal scan of the nose lips, coronal scan of the retronasal triangle, two essential sections, and the mid-sagittal scan is required according to the guideline, which is normal. Sign is missing, so uvula is not seen, and here you see glossoptosis, tongue occupying the nasopharynx. So when all this is present, then you have to confirm by the mid-sagittal scan that there is cleft of the soft palate. So then the little modification of the mid-sagittal take the axial sections of the lip alveolus is also